I was taking a look at the register today, and there was an article on AWS releasing a new set of React components, and I was like, huh, okay, that's kind of cool. And one of the things I was curious about it was that there's no documentation that goes along with it. So I was like, oh, now that's an interesting challenge. Can you go and make a UI without actually having any documentation? So yeah, you can. Here, check this out. So this is a Pokemon finder that I created in the Amazon UI components just on a whim. You can go and filter stuff. There's these cards. You can click on a card and get more info about it. There's a table down here. I mean, this is just scratching the bare surface of this library, but it is kind of neat, and it's inherently responsive. So that's pretty cool, right? I mean, I really didn't have to do anything with that at all to make that work. So I went over here to the AWS, the link that was in this register article, and here is the component library. Now, interestingly, there isn't even a GitHub link on this, so we're going to have to do this without documentation and without direct access to the code. Of course, we're obviously going to get that once we install it, but, it is an interesting challenge. Let's see if we can do it. And let's see if TypeScript is going to help us do this and help us learn a little bit more about React and TypeScript in the process of building out this pretty rudimentary Pokemon search app. All right, let's give it a go. I'm going to go and stop the current build so that it's no longer there. And let's head on over to the shell. And I'm going to go and create a new create React app. I'm going to use Yarn for that. I'm going to call this AWS test. And I'm going to give it a template of TypeScript because I really want TypeScript to help us out with this. Honestly, that was the only way I was able to figure this out, is that I'm using essentially all of the TypeScript hinting to tell me what's in the library, what's there, all of that stuff. All right, I'm going to go into that directory. And the first thing I'm going to do is bring in my data set, which is Pokemon. I just have a copy of that around. It'll be in the finished code that's up in the description. Put that into the source, and then I'll go and take all of the Pokemon images I've got and put those into public. So we open up public Pokemon. And we can see that it's got all the cool, I don't even know what that Aceligor thing is. Sounds awesome. Yes, more Aceligor. All right, let's bring up VS Code. And the first thing I need to do is bring in our component library, right? So we'll yarn add the AWS UI components in React. All right, let's go over into source and app.tsx. I'm just going to take out a bunch of this stuff. And then I'm going to open up an import from that AWS components. And if I do command space, I can start to see what the components are. So yay, TypeScript and VS Code for the win. So we've got all kinds of cool stuff in here. We've got buttons, we've got cards, we've got checkboxes, we've got a column layout, we've got form fields, all that kind of stuff. We can also go and go to definition on this. And I'm just going to leave this up since this is actually really handy. And the first thing I'm going to do is do an app layout. So I'm going to bring in app layout over here and make that the base tag. And let's just see. Let's start that up. You're in the start. Might blow up. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's got like a navigation thing on the side. It's got like a content section in here, and then an info, or I think this is called tools section over here. Okay, cool. So what do you do with an app layout? Well, if I go to definition on that, and then I go over here to app layout props and go to that definition, I can start to see that, okay. So like, for example, content is a React node, and tools is a React node. So if I were to put in here content and div, hey there, and then tools, div, tools. Yeah, okay, cool. So we're actually starting to get stuff. And this is how different the AWS UI component stack is from something like, say, Chakra or Tailwind. Right? Chakra and Tailwind, you get to define all of these sections of the code. It looks like this component library is very opinionated about stuff, which is honestly fine. I'm cool with opinionated stuff. It's easy peasy for me on that. So let's go and start playing around with building out our little app here and see where we get to and hack around some more. So one thing I am going to do in addition to bringing in the AWS UI is I'm also going to bring in Valshio, which is an alternative state manager built by Daichi Kato, which I'm in love with, and I'm just going to use that to go and synchronize all the parts of the UI. It's just an incredibly easy to use state manager. So let's go start that up again. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I'll show you how Valshio works as we go along. Next thing I want to do is bring in Pokemon, so we have a data set to work with. There you go. There's our Pokemon JSON. And let's see. I want to go and bring in a definition for that. I've actually got that built out already. I'll take a look over at the JSON file so you can see what I'm dealing with. For every Pokemon, we've got an ID, a name that's got like English, Japanese, Chinese, French. You've got types, such as a string, array. You've got, and a base, which is kind of all of the data that you have about their attack and defense performance. So that is TypeScript-wise this interface. So there's Pokemon, again, there's a number, there's a bunch of strings and all of that. So that's how you define that in TypeScript. So, okay, cool. Now, the next thing we want to do is kind of define that center section of stuff. So instead of doing hey there or whatever, I'm just going to create a new component called content, which is going to be the content section of the app. Seems reasonable enough. And then within that, let's just try out something. So I'm going to try out an input field and see how that plays out. Is that an actual thing? Input, yes, it is. Cool, rockin'. And that input is going to be at the top. Let's see, and we'll go and have to reference that now. Content, yep, let's do that. Content. All right, it's not digging on input. Okay, so we're missing value from that. So if we were to go over to definitions, okay, input props, go to definition on that. We can see that it wants a type. That's one thing. What are my base component props? Nope, nothing on that one. Base input props, that's probably a good place to look. There you go. So value is required, and it's the only thing that's required. So, all right, that's cool. So let's go and give it a value. So I'm going to say, value equals Jack. Okay, cool, nice. Hey, look at that. All right, but obviously it doesn't take any input right now because it's just hard coded to Jack. So sounds like a good time to create our Valshio store and have that store our component state. So I'm going to create a new interface for the store. It's going to have text in it, where there's a string. It's going to have a list of all the Pokemon available. Call that Pokemon like that. And then it's going to have the selected Pokemon, which we'll put over in the sidebar. And that'll be either Pokemon, or if nothing is selected, then null. Seems reasonable enough. So let's go create a store based on that. And to do that, we bring in proxy from Valshio. There we go. Did it bring it in? It didn't. Why did it? Oh, silly VS Code. What are you doing? Okay, so let's go over here and import proxy from Valshio. And also use proxy. which is the React hook that you use to connect to a proxy once you have it. So there's our proxy. You're going to give it a type of iStore and an initial value of Pokemon is our list of Pokemon. Text would be the text. And then selected Pokemon, we'll call it null. So that's really all you need to do to create a store in Valtio. So let's go back over here, and we're going to use the snapshot by saying use proxy and giving it the store. And then for value, I'm just going to give it snapshot dot, and then it's put text like that. There you go. All right. So if I change this to hello or something like that, we should see that as the initial state. Hey, nice. Cool. Okay, so that's working. So now we just have to make it both set and get that value. So I'm guessing that there's an on change. Cool. And it's going to take an event. And we're going to set the store.text to event dot, let's see, current target dot, nope. All right. Target dot, nope. All right. What do we got on here? We got detail. That's interesting. Value. I'm digging on that. Okay. So let's try that out. All right. Cool. And then just to make sure that that actually is working, let's wrap this in something. Wow, that took a lot of typing to not do much. Okay, so, oh, yep, there, that works well. So yes, okay, that is working. It's symmetric. That's a little bit different. I mean, in standard world, that's just target value, but I guess it's detail value. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go on with actually showing stuff. So I want to go and show the Pokemon that are selected. So I'm just going to go and make real fast a filter here. So I'm going to say that the slice, oops, hold on, let me go back over here. The slice of the Pokemon that we want is the store.pokemon, maybe just snapshot.pokemon, where we filter that and take the Pokemon.name.english and see if it includes the snapshot text. And then if it does, it goes through and we give it, I don't know, the first 15 or so. How's that sound? So cool. That's our list of all the Pokemon. So to show this off, I'm going to use a set of cards. I just kind of went through components until I found one that I liked, and the one that I like to display this is cards. And the way you specify what's in the cards is you say items equals, and then you give it the data. Cool. As you can see down here, it says card definition is missing. Oh, that's interesting. Missing in type. That's, oh yeah, okay. So let's see. So I need now the card definitions. And what's in that? Well, we don't know. So let's go take a look. So a card definition. All right, cool. Let's go and go to definition on that. It's got a header and it's got some sections. Both of these are optional. Okay, cool, I'm in. So header is getting an item, which I'm guessing is going to be the Pokemon. Item.name.english. How about that? Let's try that out. And is that, do I want one? How many of these do I want? All right, cool. So let's see. I just want, oh, nice. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, this is sort of smushed into that. So one of the ways that I found to fix that was to bring in column layout. Column layout, and then just wrap the whole thing in a column layout, and it seemed to go and add a bit of nicety in terms of the spacing. So let's take a look. Yeah, there you go. So in other systems, say something like a chakra, you could go and say that you want the margin top on this to be 1 rem or whatever. Can't do that here, or so it seems. But again, strongly opinionated frameworks, and I'm fine with that. So the next thing we want to look at is inside of the card definition. So let's go back there, card definition. You can do these sections, and the sections have additional data in them, or additional stuff you want to show. So I'm going to make a set of sections here. And then for each one, you specify a content, not context. You give it, again, the item, and I can say, okay, from this one, I want the item name English again. And there you go. So now we've got, this kind of first item in there. But what if you want to go and control the fonts a little bit? I did find that this UI library has a box, which I've seen a lot of. A lot of different libraries have box nowadays, basically just a div. So let's go try that out. Let's put the box around it. Okay. And box has a lot of beneficial stuff in it. Oh, that has margin and padding. I guess I could have used that instead of that column layout. All right, whatever. Font size equals, and then you got a bunch of options here. I'm going to go with body small. See how that looks. All right, so, bumped it a little down. That's kind of cool. All right, so what was our next section? Our next section was the image. So let me just, I'm going to create a new image for this. I'm going to call it a Pokemon image. Pokemon image. And interesting, I've heard a lot about, you use React FC, and then you give it whatever you want for the prop types. And I've also heard that that's not the recommended thing to do. The recommended thing to do is do something like this, Pokemon, and then say, Pokemon image props if you want to go this far, like that. You could do this in line if you want, but let's go and do that. Interface, Pokemon image props, and then it'll take a Pokemon, which is of type Pokemon. All right. And it's going to return an image with the source of Pokemon, because I've got an array of Pokemon images. Or I've got that whole folder of them in public. And we'll go to take the Pokemon. Oops, that's not really going to work. I need to make this an evaluated element. Okay, there you go. Name.english, and then put JPEG at the end. And I guess the alt tag should be the name in English. And then on the styling side, a max width of 100% to make it responsive. So this is basically a specialized Pokemon image. I couldn't actually find over here in the components an image. So that was kind of missing. A lot of component frameworks have like a base, responsive image. This one doesn't. It happens. Okay. So let's go and put in there Pokemon image, and then give it Pokemon as the item. Okay, let's take a look. Hey, that's pretty cool, actually. And let's just try it out responsively. Oh, that is sweet. And look how little I've had to do to make this happen. That's actually really cool. I did play around a little bit with like how to go and adjust the number of pictures, whatever, columns per row or cards per row. Let's try that out. I'm actually, now that I'm looking at it, I'm actually kind of cool with this. Like, I think 6 is actually fine, but, why not? Let's go and tweak it a little bit. So it's cards per row. and then you give it an array. And then within that, and let's go let's go check out the TypeScript on this. So cards per row is a read-only array of cards layout. So let's check that out. And cards layout down here is the number of cards and then the minimum width. Fair enough. So the cards, I'm going to say it's 2 when the minimum width is 600. Let's see how that plays out. Okay, so now we're down to 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, and down to, yeah, okay. And you know what? I can get rid of that nav bar too. So let's go over here. I'll say, is it nav? Navigation open equals false. And that's going to get rid of this guy on the side. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So that's big, I guess. So let's trim this down. Let's make that, I don't know, I think 4. How about 3? And then we'll make this one 4, or maybe 5, something like that. And we'll call that breakpoint 800. I'm guessing that there's like numeric breakpoints listed somewhere that you can just use, but I can't find them. Who knows? And he wants a number, so that's going to be the pixels wide of the screen. But, I think it looks actually pretty good right now. So what we need to do is add a little interactivity. So let's make another row of content. And we'll make a button in there. Is that going to just automatically bring that in? Come on, tell me you're going to automatically bring... Oh, it automatically brought that in. Thank you. Okay, we'll make a button. And we'll call it more info. All right. Yeesh. Okay, so that's the standard button. Not super happy about that one. So there are variants. Okay, there's link, normal. Let's try these out. So icon, which is nothing because I didn't mention an icon, probably. Let's see, what else is in there? Link. Okay, better. And then finally, primary. Let's see what that one looks like. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, sure. Let's go with link. I kind of like the low one. The thing is not crazy looking. And then I'm going to put a box in there and make it a little bit smaller still. All right. Cool. So now how do we actually select stuff? So we're going to do onClick. And in Valshio world, all I got to do is just set selected Pokemon in the store. So I'm going to say store.selected Pokemon equals, and then give it the item. So why aren't you happy? All right, hold on. Here we go. All right. Oh, that's on the box. Duh. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so it's probably doing something. Just can't really tell right now. So I want that to actually, when you click on one of these, show up over here in the tools bar. So I'm going to go and say, let's see, I'm going to go and bring in the snapshot again. And I'm going to say if we have a selected Pokemon, then show that. Otherwise, don't do anything at all. And this guy is going to be replaced by a selected Pokemon. All right, it hasn't been defined yet, so let's go define that. And again, we get our state of the store. And let's just return an H1 with the snapshot.selected Pokemon .english or .name .english. And if you're unfamiliar with what that question mark is, that's a optional chaining operator, meaning that if selected Pokemon is null, then Don't worry about it. Just stop. And that's fine. Although in this case, honestly, the only way you can get into selected Pokemon is if we have a selected Pokemon. So that's kind of unnecessary. But I don't want TypeScript screaming at me. So there you go. All right. So over here, if I just click on this, there we go. Nice. All right. Cool. So let's go. You know what? I'm going to try something different here. So let's wrap this in a box. And see what styling I can put on that box to move that over, because I don't like the fact that it's up against the side like that. That's not cool. So what can I do for a margin? Okay. So let's go over to the here. Margin is box prop spacing size. What is that? Okay. Spacing size. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, or spacing. Box prop spacing. Okay, cool. So it's one. Ah, look at that. Okay, so if I do left, if I give it structure and I say left, oh, nice. Okay. Left is large. Let's try that out. Oh, that's actually, that's a little far. How about medium? All right, let's try it one more time. Yeah, that's not too bad. I like it, actually. Cool. All right, cool. Also, I want that to stay open, so let's see. Tools open equals snapshot selected Pokemon not equal to null. So anytime I click on one of these guys, that should automatically open there we go. So it automatically opens the tools panel. Nice. All right. So now I need to know what the base skills are of whatever that is. Well, actually, let's just put the Pokemon image there first. Pokemon image, and that's the Pokemon with the selected Pokemon. Probably doesn't like that because it could be null. Yeah. All right. What am I going to do with that? Well, are you just going to let me get around that? Yes, you are. Okay. That's cool. Don't be so... Yeah. All right. That's good. Cool. And then let's see, what am I going to do about that? The list of all the base elements. So let's go take a look. What is base defined as? Base has all this stuff in it. So number, attack, all that. So I'm going to say that, oops, that's the wrong spot for it. Still nice to have a little bit of hang there. So let's see, base equals snapshot selected Pokemon base. Or if that's not around, then just an empty object. Fine. And then I want to go and do object keys on that, on base, and then map through that, and that's going to give me a key. And I want to go and create a new array that I'm going to go and give off to a table. So let's see, I'm going to call this base items. And it's going to have a key and then a value. And that's going to be the base key. All right. And so what are you complaining about, TypeScript? What's your problem now? Okay, any because, okay, fine. Okay. How about this, toString? You like that? Could be anything, so it's going to be, okay. Well, one thing we can do is we can also say that this has a key, which is a string, and this is going to be a string or a number. Okay, seem to like that. The only thing it has left is that base items isn't being used, so let's go use it. So I'm going to go back over here and bring in another component. We'll call it, or it's called table. I didn't make it, so somebody else made it. Let's go over here to the table. And table takes items, which would be our base items that we just made. And then it's got, what else? It's got, oh, column definitions. It's nice that it puts the stuff that you need up at the top. So columns are going to have a header, and we'll call that name. And then it's got a cell. And this is actually kind of interesting. So cell is a function. It takes an item, and then you return whatever you want in there. So that's going to be, I'm just going to use that box again. Where's an example of box? There we go. Let's grab this. There we go. Pop that in there. And we'll call this item dot, and this is name dot English. Oh, wait, that's not right. It's key. What am I talking about? Okay. Because there's key and value up here. Key and value. All right, let's take a look at what happens. So I'm going to click on one of these guys. Nice. Okay. It's actually pretty good. And let me see if I can kind of scrunch it in from the side here and also make that a little bit wider. So tools width equals, I want that to be about 400 pixels across. See how that works. Click on that. Oh, that's better. Bigger now for sure. And then let's pat it in from the sides a little bit on this guy. Right? Medium? What do you say, AWS UI? Ho-ho! Actually not bad. Cool. Okay, great. Let's continue on, and we'll make another column with the value and take that as the value. And you know what? We can make this font weight bold too. Why not? Okay. Cool. Click on that. Oh, that's really nice. So let's see what happens when I make it small. Oh, okay. That's cool. Takes over the whole screen because that's the tools. That takes precedent over the content section. Still, I gotta say, for not having ever worked with AWS UI before, or just learning it via TypeScript documentation, that's actually really cool. I mean, think about how easy it was to just figure out what each one of these ones was and how to use it just kind of by playing around with it. So kind of neat, fun way to learn both React and TypeScript, and also this new component framework, this very highly opinionated AWS UI component framework. All right, well, that's it for hacking out the AWS UI. If you come up with some cool stuff, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to, feel free to like and share this video with your friends. Of course, subscribe if all this kind of stuff is interesting to you. This was just sort of a thing that I put together on a whim, and hopefully, you like it. In the meantime, of course, be happy, be healthy, and be safe.